Hello, and thank you for joining me. My name's Dr. Emma Adams, and I'm a psychiatrist sharing some tips on mental health and well-being during this crisis. I was asked by a listener, why do we cry? And of course, at the moment, there are a lot of reasons that we could be crying. But the question was more, what is it about crying and why do people cry? And I felt, well, this is probably a useful thing to investigate. I learned that there are actually 3 types of tears that our eyes produce. Our lacrimal glands around our eyes produce. There's the basal tears, which keep our eyeballs dry and healthy. Then there's the reflex tears, which are quite watery and they're to flush away any toxins or chemicals that get in, such as smoke or onions. And the 3rd type of tears are emotional tears. Emotional tears are also rather sticky. They have more protein in them, and although there are a lot of other substances in them, there haven't been any definitive studies as to why they're there or what they do. One of the early scientific observers of human behaviour was Charles Darwin, who was born in 1809. He disregarded human crying as purposeless, which may come as no surprise when we learned that his mum died when he was 8 and he was packed off to boarding school soon after. He was certainly in that stiff upper lip culture as regards to male crying. But in this, Charles Darwin was wrong. In my career and life, I've observed lots and lots of crying, and I've shed my own tears too. And what I know is that crying does have a use. Most of what we know about the neurophysiology of crying, that is the way things work in the body, suggests that the hypothalamus and the autonomic nervous system are responsible. The autonomic nervous system is what regulates our heart rate, respiratory rate, digestion, and other similar bodily functions. One arm of the autonomic nervous system is the sympathetic nervous system, which I've touched on before. The sympathetic nervous system is what's involved in the flight-fight response and is a very rapidly acting, quick arousal response to stress or threat. On the other side is the parasympathetic nervous system, which dampens down and soothes the body, also known as the rest and recover system. We know that crying activates both the sympathetic arousal response and the parasympathetic soothing recovery response. So how does that work? This is my take as a psychiatrist who's interested in infant mental health. Babies crying is an alarm system. Babies cry when they're hungry or cold or alone, because all of those things can threaten their survival. Parents are responsive to their baby's needs and not only sort those things out, but help their babies self-regulate and settle themselves again. And we can see this when a crying baby has finally stopped crying, their limbs have become relaxed, and even their skin can change colour and texture. Parents help their babies through soothing learn to soothe themselves. I wonder if the pattern of crying is an echo of those early times. Crying can help us calm down from emotions that are just too overwhelming. It forms a break and allows the parasympathetic system to take over. As well as helping people self-soothe, crying allows us to access support from people around us. Crying has a very useful social action. So how does this knowledge help us when we're under stress? Most of all, if you're crying, there probably is a reason. We cry when things get too big for us. If crying helps, that's great. But if crying doesn't help, this really signals time to seek help. First up, talk to a friend or a trusted confidant. Failing that, if that's not possible, then please call the numbers that I have listed on the end of the video and in the notes below. Everyone, please take care of yourselves. Take your own feelings seriously and do what you can to help the others around you too. I'll see you next time. Thank you.